How to communicate and work with Chinese colleagues. Now, with the Chinese culture, I think in a lot of them, they may be a little bit different when they're in a Western company, right?
Yes.
Or the way they work, Caucasian colleagues and Chinese colleagues. What's the mindset, first of all? How do they think, first of all?
I think in general, Chinese people, they need security
Yes.
a lot.
Yes.
So when they're going to a company, they work for the company, they're always thinking long terms. They're not thinking this is just my 2-year job or 3-year job. They're thinking, how can I stay in this company for as long as possible?
Well, for most of them.
Exactly. So that's why they are very quiet sometimes, because
Yes.
they are really afraid to make mistakes.
Yes.
That's why they don't want to
They don't want to get
talk.
fired.
Exactly. They don't want to
Yeah.
talk bad things about people.
Yeah.
So people sometimes think they're very shy or think very introvert.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
Yeah, and that's not necessarily the case. And I think because there is that barrier of not knowing the Western culture well enough so that when they have conversations, when they talk to each other, they kind of feel awkward. They don't know what to say sometimes, so they just smile and nod and
Yeah.
just mind their own business. And
They don't want to create trouble.
No,
they don't want to create
no.
drama too much, and
Right.
they just kind of do their thing,
Yes.
right? No, they don't want to create a lot of enemies, right?
No, no, no.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So I think one of the keys to working effectively with Chinese colleague is knowing that when you work with them, let's say they work with you, you want to give them very clear directions and guidelines, instructions,
Yes.
because they very often they'll just smile and you tell them, you got it, yeah, I got it, but actually they may not have got it, right?
They're just so afraid to asking
Yeah,
questions.
they're afraid because they don't want to look dumb.
Yeah.
Or they don't want to feel like you think they're dumb, then you'll fire them.
Mhm.
So and then they'll just go do it, and then they have no clue how to do it. So make sure you give them guidelines and show them very clear, step by step. Because I think if you give them that, they can follow that quite well,
Yes.
right? Do this, do this, do this, do
That's
this.
how they train when they grow up.
Yeah, right. It's a lot more like that. So clear instruction, clear guideline. Then you won't get frustrated. I thought you said you got it. How come this is like that? And then you get angry, and then you're yelling at them, and it's not good, right? So clear instruction. I think second thing is don't ask them if they have questions. You got to verify and test them. You got to find out, because if you ask them, I guarantee you 9 out of 10. Do you have any questions? They'll say no, because they're afraid to ask questions. Even the Chinese culture, when we were going to school,
Yes.
the teacher would ask, "Do you have any questions?" Nobody would put their hand.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
They're not trained to put up their hand. They're trained not to put up their hand.
Yes.
Right? In school, if you put up their hand, it feels like you're like dumb, or like
there's a
what's-
judgment, there's a stigma to
Yeah.
asking
Of course.
questions. Somehow.
You're like, how come you always ask questions? Like, are you trying to
Yes.
create trouble?
The
Like,
teacher will be like, I'm trying to catch up the curriculum, you're wasting my time.
you're wasting each other's time. So we're trained that, and from a young age, we don't want to ask questions.
Yes.
So in the workplace, same thing. So you ask them, oh yeah, I don't have any questions. In meetings, I remember, right? When you have a bunch of Chinese, right? Hey, any feedback? Nothing.
They're like so shy.
Yeah, nobody says anything. They just take notes. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. It's may not got it.
Yeah.
So you got to test them. One of the best ways I found, have them repeat what you just asked them to do. So okay, so you got it. Explain to me the whole plan again. And they'll be like, oh, okay. And then you do explain, and you see all kinds of flaws. You explain it again. You got to be patient. And then they'll explain to you again. Kind of reflect back, and okay, good. That makes sense. Now they can do it. So make sure they get all of that first. So that's the second key.
And then the ideal situation as well, they might not want to ask you questions in a public setting. Or
Yeah,
a
they want to
group
ask you in
setting,
private.
right? So anticipate that they might come to you in a one-on-one,
Mm.
or even approach
Encourage,
them
yeah.
in a one-on-one, more private setting. Then that way they don't feel threatened by whatever is thinking,
Yes.
whatever the thinking is in their
Yes.
head
Yes.
about the situation. They can just focus on the questions at hand and the work at hand.
Yes, and that leads to the third keys, which you want to compliment them in public. That because they're shy, and I don't know, it's because of the shyness, but very often, sometimes it feels like they're afraid to express themselves and leave a lack of confidence.
Yeah.
Leave a lack of
Yes.
confidence. So if you can praise them in public, you're doing a good job, and everybody knows, they get to kind of gain some face,
Yes.
but also that builds the confidence.
Mhm.
They
sure.
need to do that. I don't think most Chinese colleagues then they intentionally focus on I want to be more confident, be more confident. I don't think that way. It's
No.
more Caucasian that they would think that
Because
way.
thing when we're back in school, we never had. Because right now, come to like Canada, I noticed like you have to do presentation.
Yes,
In
yes.
China, we have nothing. There's
You don't know
nothing
something.
called presentation.
Just
If you
memorize.
go, if you
Test,
go out, like
exams.
go on stage to give a speech, that's a really huge thing.
It's a huge thing. Yeah,
Which
it is
not
huge
all the
thing.
students can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think confidence is some Chinese just normally lacking.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, there's a fear of getting judged. If you present yourself in public, you're giving other people an opportunity to judge you.
Yeah, they don't like that. They
And
do not like that.
that is really hard for them, not really getting used to. If you don't do it since from like when you're a child's age or the children's age, growing up, it's just playing with friends, being on stage in a presentation, right? Do a little mini Broadway show. I've done a lot as a kid,
Yes.
right? Just dancing around and without really knowing what I was doing, and all the parents just clapping and cheering for you, and having that kind of support to going to high school and university where you're standing in front of a class and actually
It's a big
giving
deal. Yeah, it's a very
giving
big deal.
presentation. It's a long journey of
Yeah.
speaking in front of people.
So it may not be the best way if you want to get feedback from them. The best idea may not, hey, I want you to prepare a PowerPoint and present in front of everybody and all your colleagues. To them, that's a big, under a
Very
lot of
big
pressure.
thing,
Not
yeah.
that they don't want to contribute, it's just not easy for them.
Yes.
So maybe a bit off, hey, you have ideas, just talk to me directly or type something up. Maybe that's an easy way for them to express their feelings, right? So when you work with your Chinese colleagues, just knowing that, give them clear directions, right? Give them a lot of compliment. Don't just ask them if they have questions, test them and verify. Those are the 3 keys to working and communicating with your Chinese colleagues. If you enjoyed this video, comment below, give us a thumbs up. Any other questions? Again, also comment below, click on the subscribe button. Every single time I ask you to subscribe, make sure you subscribe. If you want to watch other videos, click on the videos on the left. You can watch other videos about Decode China, learning about the Chinese, the culture, the language, how they think, and I think you'll get a lot from it. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.